Alright, look, my Cats Part 2 is still coming out. It's just that me and Reactigator just got back from Vidcon. Our third overall, but our first since we started animating, so I really wanted to make a video about it. Only my second video, and I've already messed everything up. Jeez. So, usually me and Reactigator get driven down to California from where we live to get to Vidcon. But this year, my dad had to get somewhere directly after the conference, so we flew down instead. The trip down to Vidcon was very uneventful, to be honest. We got through security pretty seamlessly, got to our gate early, and the flight was only about an hour and a half, so that was pretty nice. But when we arrived in California, my dad had to pick up our rental car, so we got into this really sketchy shuttle and got to our rental car and drove down to our hotel room. You see, every time I go to VidCon, we stay at the Roadway Inn, a very affordable and close hotel that's super close to the Anaheim Convention Center. And we arrived, checked into our hotel, and headed off for registration. But this year, something was kind of off. The hotel looked different than the last one we stayed at, and the neighborhood here was like super sketchy. We're talking like clothes littering the sidewalks and everything smells like detergent because everyone's washing machine is directly outside of their house. Kind of sketchy. But we didn't pay too much heed until we finally arrived at the convention center. The Los Angeles Convention Center. And as you can guess, we were overjoyed by this revelation. You see, on the website that my dad booked our hotel on, there were 2 Roadway Inns, and both were listed as Roadway Inn ... Convention Center. So I don't blame my dad at all. In fact, he was so awesome that he booked a room for us at the hotel that we always went to before on the night before VidCon. He's the best. Anywho, we got to the new hotel and got registered for VidCon the next day. And the first day was mostly uneventful, except for, well...
We decided to go out of the convention center to get some food at good old Carl's Jr. because, let's face it, convention food is practically poison. And while we were on our way out, I noticed someone. I noticed an Asian man with some bright yellow bleached hair. Dude! We totally thought that we saw Domix walk by. The guy had a full access pass, but we weren't exactly sure, so we ended up kind of stalking him around the convention center, trying to get a peek at his pass to see if we could see the name written on it. Eventually, we followed this guy into a panel that I'm pretty sure neither of us cared about. I don't even remember what it was about. And eventually, this guy ends up leaving, and we decided, you know what, it's just not worth it anymore. This guy probably is, super creeped out about these kids following him around the convention center. So we just sat there for another 10 minutes before leaving so it didn't look like we were following him anymore. But then as we left, I realized something. Domix, in his most recent video at the time, had black hair, and that guy had bright yellow bleached hair. And also, this dude was tall. Really tall. And we all know that Domix is not tall.
Luckily, we got to end the day on a high note by going to the GT Live event, which was awesome! The next day was more interesting. There were more panels that me and Reactigator went to, but that wasn't the coolest part. You see, we were walking around the expo area, and Reactigator once again stops me in my tracks. I looked where he was gesturing, and I, like the little awkward muffin that I was at the time, froze. There in the flesh stood Tim Tom and something else YT. Reactigator essentially had to tear my motionless body for where I stood because I'm friggin' awkward as heck. Sorry, guys. But we got to meet them. They were both super awesome and talked to us for a long time. We showed them some art and even showed them our channels, and it was amazing. After meeting them, we went to the creator track floor to catch our breath and take a break before our next panel. But this time, it was my turn to notice something. On Twitter, Tony V. Toons and Alex Clark announced that they were having a meetup by a clock that was outside of the convention center, so down we went. And when we got there, it was, once again, awesome.
I got to show them the dance scene from my first video, and they thought it looked awesome. Someone noticed me.
Plus, I got followed on Twitter by Rebecca Chan, so that was amazing. Thanks for the follow, Rebecca. The next day was also pretty freaking awesome. We got to go to an animation collective panel, which featured some pretty awesome animators like The Odd Ones Out, Domix, my inspiration, Jaden Animations. And I got to ask a question, and Reactigator got James to smack his lips.
I actually had a bunch of gifts I wanted to give James and Jaden. James I bought a bag of M&Ms for, and Jaden I made a little Blaziken card with some money inside of it. But since the security guards are such Security essentially wrapped them in plastic and rolled them out of the room as fast as possible. So I did not have a single chance to give them anything. I was practically heartbroken as I left that panel. I was so sad that I did not get a chance to give James and Jaden their presents. I just wanted to curl up into a corner and just die right there. But we had one more thing to go to before we had to leave VidCon for good, which was Jaden Animation's Q&A panel. And I thought, this might be the chance. So I decided to end up going. So I went, and again, she had to be pushed backstage immediately after. But then I noticed at the back, there was Tim Tom. And I got an idea. I mean, Tim was probably sick of seeing me after all the times I ran into him during VidCon, but I approached him, and I was like, hey man, could you do me a favor? And Tim, being the freaking awesomest marshmallow man in existence, was like, yeah, sure man, what do you need? So I ended up handing him the card and the bag of M&Ms, and I was like, can you just make sure this gets to them? And he said, yeah. Tim, you don't realize what that meant to me. You practically saved me from another crippling depression trip. Thank you so much, man. And Jaden, if you actually did get the card and you're wondering why there was exactly $5.01 in there, it's because the bag of M&Ms I bought for James ended up being $5.01 total with tax and stuff, and I decided I didn't want to spend more money on James. I want everyone to be equal here. That's why I gave you and James a present, and I gave nothing to Adam and Tim.
Alright, I finally got the VidCon video out. It's only a couple of months late, so that's fine, I guess. But I want to do a quick shout out to all of the YouTubers that we were able to meet down at VidCon. It was so great being able to meet all of them, and it was so awesome that they were able to be so kind and friendly towards me and Reactigator. Also, shout out to Reactigator who starred in this video. Go check out his channel for some of his content. He's way better at this than I am. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and well, I'm still awful at end cards, I guess. See you guys.